interesting that all the blue MAGA creeps that were crying and whining because I criticized Cory Booker have had nothing to say about an American, a Palestinian American, who was just murdered by the IOF. And guess where he's from, and guess who didn't make a statement about it? Well, would you look at that? He's from New Jersey. Who's the senator from New Jersey? Right. Nothing. He has said nothing about this child's death. This child, who is an American citizen, is from New Jersey, despite the fact that other congresspeople and the governor of New Jersey have put out statements. If you are an American, it is never safe to travel to the Israeli regime or to Palestine in any capacity, because our country does not care if the Israeli regime kills you. They just don't. If something happens to an American citizen in North Korea, like what happened to Otto Warmbier, you better believe the U.S. is going after them. If something happens to an American in Russia, you better believe the U.S. is going after that shit. If an American citizen, though, gets killed by the IOF in the Israeli regime or in Palestine, the U.S. ain't gonna do shit for you. This was something that genuinely shocked me when I first found out about it, when I first realized it. Now, obviously, it's not new, but I had only recently in the last year or so learned about what happened to Rachel Corrie. And then, of course, the fact that there was no justice for Shireen Abu Akleh, who was also an American citizen, or the American that was killed in the World Central Kitchen attack. So don't you dare think that just because you're an American citizen or hold an American passport, that means that you're going to be protected. You won't be, because you know who else had nothing to say about the murder of this boy? Of course, because he met with Netanyahu this week and said nothing. When asked on Tuesday about Amer's death by the Israeli military, they did not acknowledge him by name. Okay, listen to this ridiculous joke of a lie statement from the IOF. During a counter-terrorism activity in the area of Termasaya, IOF soldiers identified 3 terrorists who hurled rocks toward the highway, thus endangering civilians. Okay, pause. First of all, we already know what's happening here, right? They're lying and saying that because everything we don't like is terrorist. They literally call everyone terrorist. Everything is a terrorist. The lamppost is a terrorist. The car, the highway is a terrorist. The rock is a terrorist. Everything to the IOF is Hamas and a terrorist, okay? So just know that. That's what they use every single fucking time. When they killed Shireen Abu Akleh, that's the exact same thing that they use. They use the exact same line, the exact same lie. And then months later, they quietly came out and were like, yeah, it was the IOF. Also, even if let's just say that it was true that the boys were hurling rocks at them, let's just say that that was true. That's not a should not be a death sentence. You don't get to kill someone because they threw a pebble, bro. The soldiers opened fire toward the terrorists who were endangering civilians, eliminating one of the terrorists and hitting the additional terrorist. How many times can you use terrorists in one fucking statement, bro? Like, they think if they just repeat the word over and over again that we're gonna forget that they murdered a teenager. Ayub Jabara, one of the teenagers that was with Amer on Sunday, was shot 3 times but managed to flee and find help, according to the statement from the community center whose members spoke to the Ayub's family. Surveillance footage showed that the soldiers fired 47 shots at the 3 boys that were picking almonds, according to the statement. So that's what really happened, and that's what always happens. The boys were minding their own fucking business. They were picking some almonds, and the cowards, the actual terrorists, the IOF, shot at them 47 times. It's a minor miracle that the other boys survived. When asked about it in the briefing, Bruce, whose job it also is to do propaganda and protect the Israeli regime, these were teenagers, Mrs. Bruce said. She noted that reports that the Israeli military believed that they were stopping an act of terrorism. Really? Yeah, kind of like what they said about Shireen Abu Akleh and what they say about literally everyone. This is a lawless regime, folks. Absolutely fucking lawless. We need to learn much more about the nature of what happened on the ground. That's funny. You're right. You know what we do? By the way, how's that investigation into the murder of Aishinor going? Because that's the exact same shit that Jake Sullivan and all the hacks under the Biden administration said when Aishinor, another American, was killed by the IOF. You guys were looking into it. How long are we looking into it? Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman of New Jersey called Amer's death an atrocity in a social media post on Monday. The state's governor, Philip D. Murphy, demanded in a statement that the Israeli government provide answers about why Amer had been killed, lamenting the tragic loss of life. What you don't see there is Cory Booker. There absolutely should be a full investigation into this, but Given the history of how this stuff works, there probably won't be. Which is why I would advise again to my fellow Americans not to travel there. Now, Amer had been living there, okay? So his family, he's from New Jersey, but his family moved to the occupied West Bank in 2013. And by the way, the friends that he was with were also American, okay? So just remember that. Just keep that in mind. You having an American passport, if you are Arab, if you are Palestinian, will not protect you. And honestly, even if you're white, it won't protect you. Just ask the guy from the World Central Kitchen. I am devastated for Amer's family. It is absolutely deplorable. It is disgusting. And I, for one, don't want to be fucking allied with anyone that gets away with killing an American citizen.